this will be a little bit more fun, I think, for us, other than kind of really diving deep into all the details and the nitty gritty of the real estate market. Is one, what's a great piece of advice that you wish you'd have received before buying your first house or the first time you sold?
I got one.
Perfect.
All right. So, and I remember actually thinking this when I bought my first house, and I just gave this advice last fall to a first time home buyer, which was remember that there are going to be unforeseen expenses after you move in that's going to cost you a lot of money. And whether those are maybe there's a repair that something breaks after you move in and it wasn't expected because that just always seems to happen, or just certain things like if this is your first time buying a home and you've lived in apartments or if you've lived with mom and dad, whatever it is, you probably don't own a lawnmower, a snowblower, a lot of those things. And so moving into a house for the first time, all of a sudden you go, this couple that I gave this advice to last fall, they were looking at buying a house out in the country and they said, well, this one's pushing our budget a little bit, but we really like it. And I was like, how are you going to plow the driveway? Like, this is a big driveway. You're going to buy a four-wheeler with a plow? Snowblower's not going to cut this one. You're going to get a truck with a plow? And so that was the first part. And then it's an acre lawn. And I was like, you're not doing this as a push mower. You're going to spend $3,000 on a new zero turn. And so it was, again, is that really my job? No. And I phrase it a lot more aggressively here just
I was
now.
going to say, you actually did sound super aggressive about that, like you're trying to talk them out of buying it. Like, what are we going to do here? Like,
They were trying to make the decision. They said, I don't know, should we go this far over our budget? And I was like, well, remember these things. You don't own these other items right now. And so that was something, because I remember moving into our house and we didn't have to buy those things. But I bought a snowblower, I guess. But it was just stuff like, I didn't own rugs. Well, then you go and you're buying rugs for the front door, garage door, back door. You're buying the cute little baskets that go in the cubbies and all that stuff. And next thing you know, every time you leave Menards, you spent $250, and you're doing that once or twice a week. And you kind of go, oh, this is really adding up quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So that was mine.
Very much so.
Mine would be, I've got a number of them, but one that came to mind was thinking about resale. If you're not planning on staying in this house for, I don't know, more than 4 or 5 years, something like that, think about what it's going to look like for future buyers. And I mean, yeah, when you talk about like how you're going to change it to, your own personal likes and needs and stuff, but also, for example, I had a client who purchased a home 2 years ago. It was a new construction, brand new, bought it, and this was in an area that had a ton of new construction. And within 2 years, they're like, hey, we're going to be moving. And now they're in a house that's been well lived in. They had some dogs. And now they're trying to sell this almost brand new home that's been lived in an area that has a whole bunch of new construction. Well, it's kind of like a car. As soon as you drive it off the lot, it's going to be not quite worth what it was. And we had a really tough time selling it because for $5,000 more, you can get a brand new home that's never been lived in. So it's thinking about how is this home going to sell in the future? I mean, and it's not just that situation that, you can think about, but think about like the location. Think about how unique is this home? Is this going to work for a number of different types of families and stuff, or people who are going to want to purchase it in the future.
Like bookshelves with hidden closets behind them.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
Just poking fun at them.
But yeah. I mean, yeah, kind of.
Did you make one of those?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was in my condo down in Venice Heights.
Oh, I was like, how come I haven't seen this yet?
Yeah. That place resold since I sold, and they didn't take any pictures of it, which makes me feel like they took it out.
Which makes me maybe feel like they didn't know it was there. They just have books. Like, what's missing here is storage.
I mean, we advertised it when we sold it.
Nice. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I'll have to go look at the photos again.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would.
Yeah, I think about the future, how long you're going to be there, and how it's going to resell. We've been in plenty of homes that you walk in and you're like, this is really funky, and this is only going to work for like a very specific buyer, and it might be tough to sell. And I think that's something that people need to think about. when they're not thinking about owning this home as their forever home.
Yeah. Most first-time buyers, that it'll never be their forever home. I
No.
mean, so that's I think a very, very unrealistic expectation. But let's take that aside. Is on your point, Eric, is how expensive moving is.
Yeah.
From movers to cleaning supplies to getting a broom. Like I bought a foreclosure that was a new construction foreclosure, so it's never been lived in. I had to buy appliances, washer and dryer, and I was single. I was dating my wife at the time, so I didn't have any of this stuff. And I remember like we bought a couch together, and it was like before she ever moved in. And I remember getting a text message from her best friend said, "Hey, Tyler needs blinds. I can see him sitting on his couch right now. We backed up to the highway. Like I can see him from the highway sitting on his couch, like inside at night." I'm like, well, that's weird. And Jenny went and she bought me blinds.
Who needs blinds when you can hang a blanket?
That's with push pins. Boom, get
Yep.
it done. That's how I hung this bad boy right here. But it was blinds. And what was the other big one? It was a water softener.
Yep.
I never grew up with water softener. Jenny did. And boy, my birthdays and Christmases were great for the first couple of years because Jenny was buying all this stuff for me, which wasn't important to me, but it did add up. And then just putting it in, I mean, it was thousands of dollars of just stuff.
Yep.
Where like I fit everything into my Blazer when I moved out of my parents' bedroom, not bedroom, or basement.
Mhm.
I fit everything into a small SUV for my new house.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't have anything. So again, be prepared for those nickel and diming first year of a home ownership.
Yeah. It
So it's not just
really
a
adds
mortgage
up.
payment. So